Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Lexi Forbes, coming at you with a brand new episode and a brand new launch, new energy, new vibes, all of that here on my podcast. So it's been a while since you and I have last seen each other, and I thought I would go ahead and reintroduce myself, the Substack, what you can expect on the podcast, and also give you a window into what I've been up to the last couple of months. So, first, let's start with the name change. I did not randomly just decide to change my last name to the money making awesome name of Forbes. I actually got married. And so I'm really, really thrilled to officially be a wife. It is probably one of my favorite titles. I love, love, love being married. It has been such amazing. Granted, I'm still in the honeymoon period, but it's been such an amazing journey to be with my partner. So that's the first thing. So now the my name has changed from Lexi Wilson to Lexi Forbes. The other thing is I bought a house. I'm so excited. And we're currently sitting in my library right now, and I love it so much. It is exactly like what I have wanted my entire life in terms of every apartment that I've lived in, every house that I've lived in. And I've been like, oh, I wish I could have a library, and I wish I could have an office, and I wish I could have this and that and this. I have it all. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to show you what's possible when you put your mind towards something, as well as using the power of manifestation, strong will, hard work, and all of that. So house bought, married, anything else? Oh, spiritual awakenings. Yeah. So I've been going through it. Although life has been so amazing and such a blessing, I've also been on the flip side of things where I've had some health challenges, and that led to another spiritual awakening. I know that, for myself, when I first started on this journey of finding what I believed and finding who I was, I thought, oh, you only have one spiritual awakening and then that's it. Then you're awakened. Girl, that's a lie. Because you definitely will go through several iterations of a spiritual awakening, constantly unveiling different parts of yourself and unfolding different aspects that you never knew that you had within. But life happens, and it triggers that part of you to open up. And so I've been kind of going through that as well, and I'm sure part of it has to do with the fact that I've been dealing with identity shifts, such as moving from just being a girlfriend to a fiance to a wife, and eventually to a mother, hopefully in the next year or two. But I definitely can see that it's like those different transitions can definitely trigger a new question of, well, who the hell am I? Right. So that's kind of what happened. And then, as well, when you bring in new blessings, like things like a new house or a new car, which I also got that too, I'm really excited about that. When you bring in those blessings, it also brings in the questions of like, do I deserve this? Is this for me? Is this going to last? When's the shoe going to drop? Hello. Now that one, I know that plenty of us have found ourselves thinking that question of like, all these good things are happening. What if something bad happens, right? That tends to happen. And so that's kind of what happened for me. I found myself in a spiral of constantly waiting for the next thing to happen. And honestly, it just hasn't happened. And it could be because I've been in a state of gratitude. But one of the things that my psychic had told me was kind of to stop expecting that, stop expecting the other shoe to drop, and just go with the flow. You're in your soft girl era, embrace it. And I don't know if that resonates with any of my listeners, but I want to share that message with you just in case you are also in a season of life where you're experiencing a lot of blessings and things are working out. I know that the temptation is to think, okay, like what's going to go wrong, right? But allow yourself to receive. That's the feminine energy, whereas the masculine energy is more about putting output. Receiving energy is input, and feminine energy is all of that. And I want you to be in that space. If you're in that space, if you know that the universe is pushing you more into a masculine energy where it's like, go out there, make it happen, do what you need to do, then embrace that. But if you are in the opposite, really honor that season just as much as you honor the get it done kind of energy. Okay. So now that we've explained a little bit about where I've been, what's been going on, and all of that, I want to talk about what you can expect coming up in January of 2026. So, first thing is in the past, this podcast was weekly, and we focused a lot on looking at the astrology and seeing what was coming. But I have found that I don't really resonate with that type of astrology as much as I used to. And I think I never really did. It's just that's what people want. And when you're trying to feed the masses, you want to provide what works, right? But the truth is that I'm not really passionate about predictive astrology. And part of it is because my personal belief is the future is constantly evolving. Based off of whatever choices you're making in the moment, it changes what the future is going to look like. And so when you have that in mind, it makes it hard to decide, like, well, this is what's going to happen when the moon is in this sign. We can expect certain themes, of course, and I can identify patterns in the sky and patterns in a birth chart. But to really dictate what you see coming forward, like, that's not really, I don't feel like it's very realistic. And also, it's like, when you know what's coming, that changes, that action of knowing changes what's coming, right? Because it changes your actions. So the future is constantly changing and shifting. And I don't feel like we have like one destiny that we're walking towards. We have many destinies and many paths, many options available to us all. So doing predictive astrology is not something that I feel called to do. But I love personality astrology. This is when we really look at what makes a person who they are, so that way they can understand themselves, so that way they can manifest what they want, they can bring about opportunities, they can understand why certain things are happening in their life, and understand why things have happened in their life, whether that's in the past or in the present moment. And I definitely love the idea of focusing on figuring out the question, answering the question, who am I, through the lens of astrology. So, with that being said, as we move forward, I want to focus a little bit more on personality astrology and breaking down what it means, how to read your birth chart, what each of the zodiac sign qualities are, what the houses mean inside of a chart. So if you want to cast your own chart, you can read it on your own. Maybe we'll have some guests where I can do readings here so you can kind of get a feel for what it's like to do a reading with me and how I use my intuition to do readings, because I don't just memorize information. A lot of it is truly God given, where I'm able to channel and connect to God, the universe, spirit, whoever is up there, and connect with your guides, your ancestors, your people, and my ancestors, and guides and angels who give me the wisdom that I need to know to do these readings. And that's kind of the difference between like an intuitive astrologer versus just a knowledgeable astrologer who might have just memorized information, which can be helpful, but it's just not the style that I really like to do. So that's one of the things, is that we're switching to more of personality based and self-understanding, self-development, self-awareness style astrology, as opposed to predictive and timing type of astrology. So with that being said, this is no longer going to be a weekly show, because we don't answer to it every week. And the reason I say that is because the world has shifted so much in the last like 10 months. The world has shifted. We are constantly in a state of like, fawn, freeze, and flight mode right now because of who is in office, and what we're dealing with as a country, at least here in the States. But also because I don't really operate like that. I know that for consistency's sake, for growth sake, for establishing trust sake, doing something on a weekly basis can be very, very helpful, because you know what to expect, you know when it's going to be live, all of that. You can plan around it. But the challenge for me, though, as someone who, one, has a chronic illness, I struggle with endometriosis and PCOS. So sometimes that takes me out of commission for a while. And even though I will be dealing with that and getting surgery soon, which I'm really hopeful about that. But outside of the chronic illness, I'm also an intuitive. And being intuitive, it doesn't just come in and out like that. Like, I don't just go, okay, it's Monday, I need an episode, so here you are. It comes when it comes. And so I need the space to be able to post and create when the energy is aligned. And that's why moving forward, this podcast is really going to be more inspired, not weekly. Not to say that it wasn't inspired when it was weekly. I'm just trying to present another style of presentation for you and maybe give you permission, if you're also a podcaster, to follow your whimsy, follow what feels good. And in addition, the world has shifted so much that it's kind of hard to promise that I can be here when, if old Orange Boy in the White House is doing something crazy and it just doesn't feel aligned for me to be talking about astrology, then I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? So I want this podcast moving forward to feel like a voice note from your bestie. I always send voice notes to my besties, and I send them like 17-minute voice notes. So essentially it is a podcast. And that's what I want it to feel like. I want this to feel like it's coming from my heart and that it's not just some obligation. So I feel like moving forward, this format honors my health, it honors my intuition, and just the way that I naturally create anyway. Okay, so the other thing is, I wanted to talk about again that what was I? Oh, you see, that's ADHD for you. I just completely forgot. Okay, well, no, move on to the rebrand. Okay, so now, before, what we were talking about, the other thing was we were talking a lot about, oh, now I remember, about marketing and astrology and business, which I still very much love using astrology for my business. But kind of like what I was talking about earlier in terms of talking about predictive astrology and timing astrology, I'm not saying that I will never use that, because I personally love to use astrology for timing purposes, but it's also easier for me to do that because I know my chart and I know myself. So it's easier for me to know when to expect certain things and what it means when, like, Jupiter is going to be in my 7th house and Saturn is going to be, I don't know, somewhere else. I know what that's going to look like for my life, and I can kind of then use my intuition to predict what's coming next. It's a lot easier for me to do that for myself than it is for me to do that for the masses. Especially because, just in case you know the difference here, I don't really rely on whole signs astrology. I rely on Placidus. And with whole sign astrology, every sign has 29 degrees inside of each placement. Again, if this doesn't make sense to you, then it's okay. But if it does, go with me here. Personally, I don't believe that everything is so cookie cutter that we can say, like, you're all this sign, you're in this area of your life, you're all that sign in this area of your life. So Placidus works best for me because I feel like we're all a little bit, we got a little bit of flavor to us, and there's a lot of differences that we can buy into in how we express ourselves. So with that, again, Placidus makes it hard to do predictive astrology for the masses because things aren't so equal. So with that being said, it's also challenging to come up with marketing strategies for all of the different birth charts that exist out there. When we meet one-on-one, a lot easier. But to try to do that for a whole masses like the podcast, it's kind of challenging. And it's not impossible, but it's also not as much fun for me. And I want to do things that feel fun, because I know that when I do things that feel fun, I tend to manifest with ease and flow. That is an affirmation if you want to take that. So that's why I want to step away from marketing and business astrology and, again, refocus, rebrand to personality astrology, where we're talking about understanding your emotional needs, where we're talking about understanding your communication style or the values that you hold, why certain things are important to you, what patterns you tend to have or themes that you find in your life, instead of trying to guess your marketing strategy or guess your future. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to look here to the side for any notes because I wanted to make sure I stayed on point, because I didn't want this to be a too long of an episode, because in 2026, we will have longer episodes. But like I said, I want them to be like voice notes to your bestie. Some voice notes are going to be long. Some voice notes are going to be a little bit softer and shorter. And that's okay, because I just want you to get the channeled inspired information when you need to. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is, the name change. So we also changed the podcast because we were doing, before it was focusing on marketing and business and astrology and that way. Now that we're still going to be focusing on astrology, but we're focusing on personality astrology, I thought that we could change the name to By Lexi Forbes. Of course, that would be my brand new dog, Cammy. So he is barking, so I do apologize. But By Lexi Forbes, one, because it's kind of encompassing. I'm a manifesting generator in human design. Oh, you guys, it is a struggle because I'm constantly changing and evolving all the time. And so with that being said, By Lexi Forbes kind of encompasses all the different things about me as your astrologer and about me as a manifesting generator and all that. But it's also going to be kind of called like the remembering era. And the reason why I want to call it that is because this is all about coming to a place of remembrance, of coming back to you, remembering yourself, not changing yourself. You know what I mean? I think for so long, the last couple of years, especially since COVID, since 2020, a lot of us have been going through these self-healing journeys. And although that's a beautiful thing, and we're all on different timelines when it comes to that, at the end of the day, there's a point where it's not just about healing, but it's about implementation and integration, really bringing what you know about healing and about spirituality into your life and allowing it to just permeate through everything. I really want that to be our focus here on this episode, on these episodes, is remembering what you've learned and now starting to integrate it into your life and into your behaviors, your patterns, and all of that. Again, through the lens of the powerful astrology. So moving forward, I'm going to provide you bite-sized trainings on your placements, on understanding what each of the zodiac signs mean, what the houses mean, and how you can use them to understand yourself, how you can use your chart to understand yourself without feeling overwhelmed by it all. I'll also provide like coping skills and techniques to help you manage according to things like your moon sign or what's in your 8th house versus your 12th house. Again, the reason why I want to do that is the reason why I want to do that is because my background, if you don't know, is in social work and therapy. I have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy, my bachelor's degree in family studies with a minor in behavioral science. So I have always loved, and then professionally, I was a social worker and a family specialist at one point in my life as well. So I've always loved talking about people's hearts and feelings and emotions. And now I tend to combine that background with astrology. So moving forward, I want to give you those practical tips. If you've done a one-on-one reading with me, then you already know this is something that I provide, but I want to provide that now more consistently through the podcast. So again, this is, also we'll be talking about spirituality in all its forms, meditation, astrology as a language of self-understanding, developing your intuition, becoming her or him or they. All are welcome here, which is also super important. You need to know that about myself and about the community that you're in, because if you feel that that's not aligned with you, then this isn't the space. But if you feel like all are equal and need to be respected for so, then this is definitely the space for you. So anyways, moving forward, those are the shifts that you can expect. Readings are also coming back in January 2026. It is now December 2025. I'm really excited about getting back into readings. That's going to be a really fun thing to do. Sorry, I was looking up at the ceiling. But yeah, that's going to be really fun to do. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to the Substack, because my Substack people are going to know first. Now, there's 2 tiers here. 3 tiers actually. First, we have the free tier. This is where you're going to get occasional postings, astrology sessions, all of that right here on the blog and here on the episode. Then we have here on the show. Then we have the paying tier. The paying tier is $8 a month, or save yourself some cashola and pay only $77 a year, and you get all of my content, all of my teachings, a library of like astrology information to help you to understand yourself and to understand your birth chart and how you manifest and what you need emotionally and things like that. In addition to the fact that, yes, you would be also supporting working my business as well, a small business, a Black owned business, a queer owned business. Let's do it. So you would also be doing that as well. But it just gives you more access to more amazing astrology content. And you get direct access to me inside of our paid subscriber chat. So the chat room feature inside of there, we're going to do card pulls. We're going to do conversations, any questions that you might have about astrology and all of that. All of that is going to be inside of the chat room. And the chat room is only available to our paid subscribers. Again, it's only $8 a month or $77 a year, which works out. I'm not good with math, so I'm not going to even try. But that's why I went into social work, you all. But it works out to being a really affordable price and the lowest price at which you can work with me. And I think that it also gives you the opportunity to see what it's like to be in my world and in my energy before you step into doing like a full-on reading with me, which you can also do as well. And then also we have the founders membership, which is the Inner Orbit. Hey, I like that name. And when you join the Inner Orbit, that is you becoming a founding member with this journey of us. And you'll get a free birth chart reading included on top of access to the astrology library, access to all the content that's available here on the Substack, and all of that. So that is really amazing. And I say this too, if you're already looking at a birth chart, it's actually more affordable to just become a founding member. It's less. And so I'm just throwing it out there. Get your content, get your astrology library, get access to me on a regular daily basis. What are you going to say? I mean, it's amazing. So definitely consider joining the Inner Orbit. That's the founding membership as well. And I think that is all that I have for you guys today. So I thank you so much for being here with me, for staying on this journey, because I know there's like 600 of you guys, which I'm so grateful for. Every single one of you means something to me, because without you, no one cares what I'm doing, right? no one's listening, right? So you being here means the world to me. So one, I thank you for continuing to stay here and continuing to engage with me, connect with me, listen to the things that come out of my mouth. Okay, thanks so much for valuing them. Thank you so much for continuing to support my business over the last couple of months as well, since I've been a little bit quiet here and you're still here. Thank you for listening to this episode and for being excited for me as I got married and as I moved into my new house and moved into a new city and all that stuff. I'm still in Chicago, but just a new area and just a new part of Chicago. And I'm really hoping that from this episode, you walk away knowing, one, that it is safe to be in your soft girl era. Okay. So allow yourself to be in a state of receiving if you are in that space. We are always talking about going out there, making it happen, especially the Pluto and Scorpio generation, aka millennials. We are always talking about girl bossing so close to the sun. But sometimes it's okay to just sit back and allow the universe to bless you without the expectation that it means that something bad is going to happen. So that's the first thing I want you to walk away with. The second thing I want you to walk away with is that astrology is a wonderful tool that can be used in many different ways, whether it's predictive astrology or personality astrology or timing or business, whatever it may be. But here we're going to focus a little bit more on personality and self-understanding and self-development type of astrology. I'm really excited about January 2026, and I think that is going to be it for me. My birthday is coming up, and I'm turning 40. Which, can you believe that? I know. It's like, what the hell? Those genes are good. Thank you so much to my grandma and to my mama, because my mom, she also looks mad young too. But But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so yes, I'm turning 40 in a few weeks, in 2 weeks exactly, and I am really excited about that. So as I plan for my birthday and all of that, after my birthday, when I come back, I'll be starting a fresh new decade, a fresh new cycle, and I'll be ready to get back in here to do the podcast for you, not weekly, but inspired. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions or if you're looking to book a session with me, go ahead and check out the description below. I'm not doing any readings in the month of December because Christmas and my birthday are happening like right now. However, you can book your session for January. So to hold your spot, go ahead, click on that link, check out the different sessions I have. I have moon readings, I have life patterns, which tells you about the themes that are happening in your life, especially if you're going through some ish right now and you're like, why does this keep happening? Get that life patterns meeting, reading, and let's see what's happening. We have the birth chart reading. We have all different kinds and styles of how we can look at your chart. And I would love to be able to support you in self understanding. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Thanks for being here. Bye.